Crimson Crawler's API engine powers every surface. It turns vulnerability, threat, product, indicator, and artifact data into grounded, source-attributed intelligence. The versioned API combines synchronous enrichment and assessment, asynchronous artifact and inventory jobs, and quota-exempt platform workflows. One API key and the same response models carry across REST, Python, TypeScript, CCC, and MCP. The CVE endpoint takes one identifier and an include list for CVE detail, CWE, CAPEC attack, EPSS, and KEV. One source-attributed response combines severity, affected products, exploitation signals, attack relationships, remediation, and provenance. Source failures stay explicit without discarding valid layers. Status and rate limit headers expose partial success and quota state. Incident automation can begin with local evidence. This script extracts 8 CVEs from the analyst notebook and Nessus Delta, then builds one batch. The batch preserves source files, identifiers, and complete results in one JSON document for review, storage, or patch queue generation. Each item owns its data and errors, so one unavailable source cannot erase the other findings or force 8 separate calls. The reusable pipeline is evidence, normalized indicators, grounded enrichment, then an operator view with provenance intact. Artifact Enrich submits the complete evidence set as one asynchronous job, returning HTTP 202, while correlation, grading, and report assembly continue. The status endpoint exposes queued, running, done, or error state. Quota-exempt polling can wait safely for completion. Done returns references, action lanes, evidence scores, rationales, citations, defensive coverage, and export-ready content. Exchange, Fortinet, ActiveMQ, Outlook, and Windows findings remain connected to the incident text and scanner evidence. The final payload preserves citations, defenses, and exports for audit storage and downstream reporting. Python adds generated request and response types, while environment authentication and full serialization preserve the complete endpoint contract. The client handles TLS, retries, decoding, and models, while retaining the vulnerability graph, provenance, and partial errors. Python changes integration ergonomics, not pricing, contracts, or grounded results. TypeScript provides the same generated contract with compile time request fields and a complete typed response. Bun returns the same vulnerability, attack, exploitation, product, and error layers. Use SDKs for generated types and retries. Use REST when another platform already owns HTTP. CCC brings the engine to terminals and scheduled jobs, while JSON mode preserves full responses for automation. The CLI shares the endpoint and API key, letting investigations move between interactive and scripted use without translation. MCP exposes the API as named AI client tools. This labeled mock demonstrates registration and discovery without autonomous access. The mock agent submits the same incident notes and receives the real batch payload, not invented vulnerability data. Production agents receive the same errors, citations, grounded fields, and asynchronous job controls as every other client. Getting started. Quick Start runs an authenticated request. Authentication covers keys and limits. An API overview helps choose a surface. A PI reference is the contract. Overview defines headers, statuses, response shapes, and families for enrichment, search, assessment, and async jobs. Under enrichment, Enrich CVE shows the richest request, Enrich IOC handles indicators, and Enrich batch preserves item-level errors across many inputs. Search provides direct lookups, knowledge base finds related intelligence, KEV narrows known exploitation, and D3Fend returns defensive technique records. Assess supports decisions, technique coverage finds defensive gaps, vulnerability exposure evaluates assets, and IOC portfolio compares indicator risk. Artifact Enrich documents submission. Artifact Enrich status defines progress, completion, errors, and the final polled report. Inventory. Enrich submits monitored assets. Its status page follows queued and running work through completed findings. Platform APIs cover saved work. Artifact Manager handles files. Inventory Manager owns assets and automation. And Report Generator covers templates, builds, and exports. Clients carries one contract into MCP, Python, TypeScript, and CCC. Start with Overview, then copy the pattern for your runtime. That is the API engine, one grounded contract across every workflow, from a single CVE to full incident evidence. Start with the introduction, choose the client that fits your stack, and keep the context attached from first request to final action.